talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. And guess who was on time? So with that all being said, let's see who is in here. All right. Hey, we the people. Nessie X is here. Desmond, Claudette, DJ Big Six is in the virtual building. Edward. All right. Let's get into it. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. All right. I see you, Terry Hinton. All right. LL is in here. All right. Nessa G. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Hey, Juju, beloved. Everyone hit that like button. Now, listen, let me just say this really quick. Hey, Sheila. So I noticed this morning that YouTube has unsubscribed some more of you all. Hey, Dragon Lily. YouTube has unsubscribed some more of you all. So please do your due diligence and make sure that you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been getting the notifications. And also, hey, Chris B. And also, if you notice, if you have a problem, post it in the chat. If anyone has a problem, those of you who are not in the chat, who may be listening from the bushes, if you have a problem posting on this channel or in the chat and you didn't do anything to get blocked, and we rarely block people over here unless you just have to be obnoxious. But so if you notice you can't, type in the chat, let me or my chief moderator, Desmond, know. Okay, because someone reached out to Desmond yesterday to let me know that they had been blocked from the chat. And that's the kind of BS that YouTube does when you are shadow banned. And they're probably mad because I'm going in on Trump. But guess what? We're going to keep going in on the devil. All right. That's what we're going to do. Okay. With that all being said, Desmond, thank you for starting us off with your super chat donation. Set fire for the queen being on time. No, you're wrong for that. It's the shade of it all, Dance. Not for the queen being on time. Anywho, looking above all that drama, copping, please. Talking about I ain't blocking nobody. Nobody said you did. Sit down somewhere. I think it was YouTube, okay? Because the person wasn't even in my blocked list. So that lets me know that none of us blocked her, neither me nor my moderators. When you see someone's blocked and they're not in my block list, that means ScrewTube did it, okay? Point blank and period. But like I said, they've unsubscribed about 17 people, maybe even more, but I know at least 17 people. Honey, they just be hating on the poor little old queen. But anywho, y'all think I care? Because I don't, okay? Now, with that all being said, everyone hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. All right. So we're about to get into it, honey, because let me tell y'all something. It is all so tragic what's going on with ICE. I haven't really been keeping an eye on them as I should because I've been caught up with these nefarious files. But I said to myself last night, I was talking to my best friend, and I said, I got to see what the hell ICE is up to because I haven't heard a word about them. And she was like, oh, honey, there's words to be heard. Okay? So that all being said, we're going to get into it because they have been out here really wilding, like they say in New York. Isn't that how y'all say it? They out here wilding. Okay, so anywho, let's get into it. And before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Desmond, thank you for your contribution again, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, guys, I know I told you I was coming back yesterday evening. Ooh, I thought I was. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. When I tell you, I just felt so low vibrational. Reading through those files is tedious. Okay, and it is just so low vibrational. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, we're going to get on ICE. Okay, we're going to get on ICE. Oh, but before we do, let me show you all. Did you all hear about the IRS? How many of you all heard about the IRS not paying their taxes? One's in the chat. That's right, soul sister. Get the likes up, people. Let's get the likes up, honey. Okay, y'all can do better. Everybody need to hit the like button, or why are you here? Okay, why are y'all here? Please pay attention. Don't be stingy with the likes, honey, because if you don't like the queen and you don't like the commentary, why are y'all in here? All of y'all said no, so you didn't hear this? Well, guess what? You heard it here first because we're about to get into it. These nefarious people didn't pay their taxes, okay? But they got the nerve, dare I say, to come after us. I want y'all to pay attention. I'm about to share my screen. This is all egregious. It's all egregious, Leon. They want us to pay taxes, but not them. How does that work? Let's get into it.
While most Americans had to write a big fat check to the government today to pay their taxes, over 100,000 federal workers are not paying their taxes. In 2021, the IRS found that almost 150,000 federal workers owe about $1.5 billion in unpaid taxes. Over 5,000 of them work at the IRS and owe $50 million in overdue taxes. Even though the IRS can fire its workers that are not paying their taxes, only 20 people have been terminated. That double standard is something Senator Joni Ernst, Senate Doge Caucus chair, wants to stop. She's introducing several bills aimed at cleaning up the IRS. One bill would require IRS employees to be audited every year and fired if they don't pay their taxes. But while the IRS is not catching the tax cheats on their own payroll, they are busy arming their workforce. Ernst is also calling out 10 million taxpayer dollars the IRS has spent on guns and ammo, stockpiling 4,500 guns, 5 million rounds of ammo, even 15 machine guns.
Say what now? Do y'all hear it? It's all egregious. How are you working for the IR and the S, but you won't pay your taxes, but coming after those of us? All right, I find it all nefarious. Now let me tell y'all something. Look at Trump's ugly self. Ugh, I absolutely cannot. Y'all marinate on that. Y'all see this? Somebody said Trump did his best to cover up and disappear the entire scandal. The cover-up is worse than the crimes. Without Thomas Massey's law, they would have gotten away with it. Okay, now the foreign espionage and blackmail operation is out in the open. The perverts, traffickers, cannibals, murderers are having a bad day indeed. Trump's co-conspirators in the cover-up, Bondi, Cash, Bungino, they should be arrested today for conspiracy, perjury, obstruction of justice, and then called the inaction figures. Not the inaction figures. I am done, okay? And that's exactly what they are, quiet as it's kept. Now let's talk about ICE and what they're out here doing to people's children, because you know what I find interesting? Not one word of this has been on the news, to my recollection. I haven't seen any of this on the news. And then quite frankly, when I Googled it, let me show you what I get. Let's see here. Let me share my screen and let's Google it to see what we can find. Because why are they not reporting this stuff? That's what I would love to know. Okay, hope y'all can see my screen. Did ICE shoot a 6-year-old? That's right, in case y'all missed it. Now watch this. ICE detains a 5-year-old from January 2021. That's the little boy that we saw the blue hat on. Ain't nobody say anything about that. That's what comes up. Now, what came up earlier when I typed it in was the Renee Nicole Good shooting. And I'm like, did I say anything about Renee Nicole Good? So they're not reporting these incidents, okay? I want you all to pay attention. There's a good reason why they're not doing it. All right, so let's talk about it, because this little 6-year-old boy was supposedly shot in the leg, and people are mad as hell, as they should be. This happened weeks ago. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Okay, I'm going to go to a couple of videos because they have like different angles or different people shouting in the background and all of that.
So what, do you know what happened on the ground here?
I think that they shot a kid. They shot a kid that was trying to run away from them, and they shot at them. They shot at them. That's why we're here right now, because it's unacceptable that they start shooting kids now. They start shooting kids from the back now. We can't fucking let this happen.
Was this part of a raid, or was this just one of their...
It is because they stopping people... they just stopping people randomly on the streets, and they were heading home, and they start fucking shooting at them because they were trying to run away from them. That's why. Yeah. That's why.
Yep. There's Border Patrol officers in full camo. They're armed with... A couple of them have night vision.
You can put the microphone
yes.
to what they're saying.
Dude, what are you doing? What made you sign your oath and do this to us?
Go down, devils. Y'all see it? Let me go to this next clip. It's a darn shame. Shooting a 6-year-old. Luckily, it was only the leg. But they've been telling kids they're going to shoot them in the head. That's what they told one little girl.
En la pierna. Por favor, ayúdenme, tenemos hijos.
Tenemos unos niños pequeños aquí en la casa.
¿Y si disparan? Asómalo así, nada más que fue. Los de LAI son los de LAI.
Miguel, quítate de ahí. Quítate de ahí. Y venían persiguiendo a mi marido hace como media hora, lo estaban tratando de chocar. Y llegó a la casa y como le cerramos la puerta, le dispararon.
They were following my husband and they hit his vehicle and we closed the door on them and they shot.
Ahorita me da miedo asomarme la ventana.
Te voy a decir algo. Si no hubiese visto nieve, nunca me hubiese agarrado. Ni que quiero. No hubiese pasado nada.
Y el carro,
Nefarious. Okay, that's a darn shame. If you thought that was bad, wait till you hear this next story, because this right here made me so angry. Let's get into it.
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained an 18-month-old girl named Ahmadiyyah with her parents during what was described as a routine immigration check-in in El Paso, Texas. Her parents had entered the United States back in 2024 seeking asylum. They are both Venezuelan nationals, while she is a Mexican citizen. Her parents do not have a criminal record. They have never been arrested before. They were transferred to the Dilley Immigration Processing Center, a remote detention facility in South Texas that houses hundreds of immigrant families. In the days that followed at this facility, Ahmadiyyah's health rapidly started declining. She had developed a high fever in early January that reached 104 degrees Fahrenheit and soon began experiencing persistent vomiting and severe difficulty breathing. Her parents took her to the medical center in this facility about 8 or 9 times, but each occasion she only received basic fever medicine and no substantive treatment. By January 18, 2026, Ahmadiyyah's condition had become life-threatening. Her blood oxygen levels fell dangerously low, and ICE agents finally transported her and her mother to a children's hospital in San Antonio. After the hospital performed tests on her, she was diagnosed with multiple serious infections and illnesses, including COVID-19, RSV, viral bronchitis, and pneumonia. She was placed on supplemental oxygen and was hospitalized in critical condition for 10 days. Despite warnings from the staff at the hospital that Ahmadiyyah was still medically fragile, she was discharged from the hospital on January 28, 2026 with a nebulizer, prescribed respiratory medication, and nutritional supplements to aid in her recovery. Instead of Ahmadiyyah and her mom going to a safe environment where she could continue recovering, she was actually sent right back where she came from, the Dilley Immigration and Processing Center, where there was a measles outbreak, once again putting her at risk of getting another health-related issue. And instead of Ahmadiyyah being able to continue taking the medication in this facility that the hospital had prescribed to her, ICE agents actually confiscated the medication and the nebulizer that she was supposed to be using to assist breathing. Once back in the detention center, Ahmadiyyah was forced to wait with her parents in long outdoor pill lines for hours each day to try to obtain medications that she needed, only to be denied what doctors had already prescribed to her. Instead, just like before, she was given basic nutritional drinks like Pediasure, and she was not given any breathing treatments or medication. During this period, she lost about 10% of her body weight and remained at serious risk of further health deterioration. As a result, the family ended up filing an emergency habeas corpus petition on February 6, 2026, arguing that detaining a medically vulnerable toddler and denying her necessary medication was unconstitutional and dangerously negligent. Shortly after the filing, ICE released Ahmadiyyah and her parents from their custody. Ahmadiyyah has survived and she is getting the treatment that she needs while she is out of this facility, but her case has become a stark example of the risk that children face in immigration detention centers and why advocates say that no child in medical crisis should ever be held there. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments. On December 11th,
Isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? They took her medicine and then sent her right back to where she was. It's like they are so low down and nefarious, they just try to cause people issues. But hold on, where do y'all hear this? I mean, this isn't as bad, but nonetheless, still messed up. That poor baby. I'm glad that she's out of there, okay? And on her way to a full recovery. That is low down. She had all of those different ailments.
Some very serious and horrific news right now about the Chicago ICE raid on a residential apartment building earlier this week that not many people are talking about. We're learning more gruesome details in this moment. Ebony Sweets Watson, who's a neighbor of the apartment building, lives right across the street, says it looked like hundreds of agents were outside of her front door. She saw agents dragging residents across the ground, including children, out of the building without any clothes on and into U-Haul vans. Kids were actively separated from their mother. She said it was heartbreaking to watch because even if you're not a mother, seeing kids, quote, coming out butt naked and taken from their mothers, it was horrible. She went in to help one of the residents in the building, and she was shocked by what she saw. There was stuff everywhere. Birth certificates and paperwork was thrown all over. Water was leaking into the hallway. ICE ransacked a residential building, dragged children out into U-Haul vans in Chicago, and no one is talking about it. Spread the word because people need to know. Follow on for all the news.
Make it all make sense. Okay, do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? I told you, we are not dealing with human beings. That's what some people are not grasping. You cannot expect them to act humane when they're not even humans. Okay, y'all have to pay attention because right now, hell is empty. The demons and devil are right here amongst us. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, now they say ICE is also targeting schools. They're out here targeting schools. Taking people's kids outside naked. That should be, you know what? They should be brought up on charges for that, for real. You bringing those kids out there naked, like that is something, that is sick, okay? Not only is it humiliating, but this, just imagine that. First of all, that is so disgusting. They should be locked up and brought up on charges. Probably pedos, freaks.
Straight. Schools put up security cameras to protect kids, and now those same security cameras are being used to help ICE hunt immigrants at school drop-off, at pickup, in parking lots. Police departments across the country are running immigration searches through a national surveillance system that includes school-owned cameras. And when they search, every shared camera gets scanned automatically. That includes schools. So while parents are buckling kids into their car seats, law enforcement is logging license plates. Not for safety, not for emergencies, for deportation. In schools, most of them had no idea this was happening. ICE doesn't need a warrant. They don't need to step on campus. They don't even need permission. They just ask local police to run the plates, and the system does the rest. One officer literally said, "We will assist them, no questions asked." No questions asked about kids at school. This is what happens when student safety tech gets sold as a surveillance dragnet. This is what happens when guardrails don't exist. This is what happens when immigration enforcement gets so aggressive it starts using elementary schools as data mines. And if you're wondering why families are terrified to send their kids to school, this is why. So let me get this straight. Schools put up security cameras to
Just a darn shame. And these people can't get them off of their property. Like, it's just absolutely amazing. Okay? Absolutely amazing. Now let's go to the, oh yeah, we got to go to the ICE chief, what he said during a hearing. But before I go to that, I got to let you all see this other video, a couple more videos, because ICE actually even hit one kid with their darn car. And this kid was a minor. This kid was a minor. I want y'all to pay attention.
An American teenager was taken by ICE agents right outside his own home, even after he calmly told them he could go inside and retrieve his ID to prove who he was. You heard that right. Not at the border, right in front of a residential house. In the video, the teen stays calm. He repeatedly explains that his identification is inside the home, just a few steps away. The agents refuse. They make it clear they are not going to verify his identity on the spot. Instead, they say, "We'll confirm it at headquarters." Moments later, the teenager is forced into an ICE vehicle. No warrant is shown. No specific charges are explained. No emergency or immediate threat is cited. And here's the most alarming part. He is a minor. As of now, ICE has not provided an official explanation for the video. But in Minneapolis, the incident has reignited public outrage over the limits of law enforcement power. If the government can detain someone first and figure out who they are later based only on suspicion, then this is no longer just about immigration enforcement.
Y'all don't pay me any attention. I'm sorry. I didn't even
An
know I had my
American
thing on.
teenager
Hold
was
on.
taken.
Y'all don't pay me any attention. I'm sitting up here. I'm trying to find this thing, this video I had of Putin, what he said about Trump and them. Okay, I'm gonna find that while you all watch this next video. Okay, y'all know I be multitasking, so sometimes the videos play over a little bit, but I'll try to keep up. Okay, here we go.
Agent who shot and murdered an American citizen, Keith Porter, on New Year's Eve is now facing allegations of child abuse and racism towards black people. Keith Porter was black. He was an American citizen. He's not being talked about enough, but he was murdered by ICE on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles for no reason whatsoever. An immigration officer should not be murdering an American citizen. That's absolutely absurd. But this happened on New Year's Eve. Of course, now we're learning new details about the ICE agent. Like I said, facing allegations of child abuse and racism, and specifically racism towards black people. This is coming from the investigation that's happening. Local news outlets are now reporting on this, including the LA Times. Yeah, ICE needs to be abolished, and that's a moderate position. The ICE agent
They do absolutely do need to be abolished. Like there's no purpose for them. They serve no purpose because at this point we know it's not about immigration because they're out here harassing regular people that's just minding their business, going to and fro. Like I told you all, okay, trying to get to work. These people are not criminals. Okay, now they want to call the immigrants criminals because the ones that are here illegally. But other than that, what are they doing? Okay, and half the people they're stopping are not even here illegally. That's the problem.
All right. Citizen of the United States?
Yeah.
Okay. You got any type of ID? You born here? How old are you?
20.
20 years old?
Yeah.
Any type of ID with you?
No.
No? Okay. Where were you born?
Minnesota.
All right. Have a good day. Appreciate your time.
All right. Damn. These niggas pulled up like the motherfucking mafia. Yeah, I'm good now.
Now, what was that all about other than them racially profiling? I got straight racially profiling. I want you all to pay attention because guess what? I'm not even going to tell y'all guess what. I'm just going to do a video about it later so y'all can laugh. We need us a good laugh and we need to be a little messy because all this stuff is just traumatizing. So later on today, we're going to have a fun live. Y'all are going to see what people been out here doing. Y'all going to see what they're out here doing, trying to imitate black people. Y'all. They out here trying to learn. They literally got somebody online trying to teach people how to talk like us. Please sit down. Please sit down. Okay? I find it all nefarious. But anywho, let's continue. We're going to talk about that later. Because when I saw it, I was cracking up. Now, a 14-year-old girl who is a U.S. citizen told Matt Gutman she was detained and zip-tied by none other than ICE. Out here harassing. Terry Hill said, dang on copycats. I know, right? And then sitting up there straight up lying and saying they're us. They all up on the video talking about, yeah, you know, because we need to do. And the dude was like, excuse me, where are you from? Okay, please sit down somewhere, ma'am. You are not us, okay? Please have several seats. Now, let me go to this next video. Here we go. Leon said, we're trendsetters. Absolutely.
Of tactics in the story of an immigration raid in rural Idaho. While allegedly focused on Mexican cartel activity, the raid in fact swept up more than 300 U.S. citizens along with 100 undocumented immigrants, just 5 of whom were later arrested on gambling charges. In the process, children as young as 14 were zip-tied and questioned on their immigration status. Here's Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman.
You're gonna shoot me if I don't.
When about 200 armed agents stormed this horse racing event in rural Idaho, Annabelle Romero says she had no idea who they were.
All I'm asking is for clarification. Who are you? Why am I being detained?
And their response?
The response, I'm going to blow your head off.
Canyon County Sheriff Kieran Donahue was there on horseback.
So this was a very, very large-scale operation, maybe the largest I've ever been involved with.
The sheriff says nearly 500 people were at the October 19th event, 375 of them U.S. citizens or legal residents, including some 60 children. The sheriff says the event was linked to Mexican cartel activity and asked ICE to join. But so far, only 5 people have been arrested for nonviolent illegal gambling. In a lawsuit filed tonight, the ACLU is accusing Donahue and the federal government of using excessive force, including against children.
Law enforcement should not be zip tying children. They have done long-lasting damage to children.
Can you show me, Sohei, where you had bruises?
I had bruises all right here along both wrists.
Romero and her 14-year-old daughter, Suhei, both U.S. citizens, said agents herded them along with Romero's 2 younger children to the racetrack.
Was it scary, you two?
There, officers zip-tied Suhei, that's her 8-year-old sister, by her side.
I'm just like there crying, like I'm struggling to breathe, like I can't even get words out.
With her hands bound behind her back, Romero says she was unable to console her daughter.
I can't hug her. I can't hold her because you guys won't let me go. And like, she's only 14.
In an email, the Department of Homeland Security first told CBS News it was a conspiracy theory. In a second email, they denied ICE agents zip-tied children.
The youngest that was zip-tied was 16 years old, and he had a mustache. There were kids in there. They weren't zipped. Those little ones were not zip-tied.
This is a picture of Suhei. We met her this morning. She's
Okay.
14 years old.
Okay.
She's I would say a child, a girl who was zip-tied, and these are the bruises from those zip ties.
Okay. And
Have you seen that or heard?
No, I had not. I had not seen that. But I will tell you this. I've been in this business a long time. I've gone against gang members who are a lot younger than that.
She was with her 6-year-old brother and 8-year-old sister.
But you're taking that out of context. We do not know her.
What context do you need?
We
There's
do
a
not
young
know
girl
her.
with 2 small children with her.
We
How
don't.
dangerous could she possibly be?
We don't know.
Now, the sheriff is facing community backlash.
Have ties been broken with your community?
To some degree, I believe they have. Absolutely.
My parents, they came over here to the United States to give us a better life so we didn't have to suffer. And that day, I felt like our freedom was taken away from us.
Matt Gutman, CBS News.
Low down dirty devil. He just didn't want to admit he was wrong. Talking about he's taking out gang members younger than that. She's not a gang member, though. And she had little children with her. Please. I hope they vote him out of office. Stupid self. Like he was just deflecting. That's all that was, and gaslighting. ICE threatens to shoot child in the head in Hopkins, Minnesota. Now, I think this is the young lady who just did the interview.
To shoot child in the head in Hopkins, Minnesota.
Go fuck yourselves!
You're gonna put a bullet in your head.
This is America! Give them a reason to escalate this. We are not the ones, okay?
And you know what I find interesting about that? The day after she was threatened, that's when that child got shot in the leg. Okay, that's when that child got shot in the leg. And let me tell you something else, too. Another child was SA'd, and ICE messed up the darn case. I mean, they had the perpetrator, and everything, and ICE just messed up the whole case. Let's get into it. It's all so nefarious.
So let's talk about something that nobody wants to admit, and I'm not hearing really anywhere. ICE detainers helped ruin the prosecution of a child sex offender in Boston. Here's what happened. A man accused of sexually abusing a child was arrested and charged in Massachusetts. This should have been pretty freaking straightforward. Prosecute the crime, protect the victim, and secure a conviction. Instead, ICE stepped in with a civil detainer, not a criminal warrant, and demanded custody. Under Massachusetts law, local courts cannot legally hold someone on a civil ICE request alone. So instead of focusing on the criminal case, everything turned into a jurisdictional mess. The defendant was released, ICE rearrested him later, witnesses disappeared, timelines collapsed, and the friggin' prosecution was weakened. And who pays the price for this chaos? The victim. This is the part of the story that Fox News just doesn't tell you. When ICE jumps the line, it can derail criminal prosecution, not strengthen them. Prosecutors want suspects present, stable, and accounted for in court. If you actually care about child safety, the priorities should be convictions first, then immigration questions second. Justice isn't served when ego and optics override victims. And this case proves it. Hold everyone accountable, even ICE. Share your thoughts in the comment section and follow me for more. So let's talk.
Isn't that something? Now, the little 5-year-old who was detained by ICE, he's finally freed.
Ordered their release from a Texas detention center, U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro shared this video of the little boy being walked out of the facility on Saturday night. A photo of Liam back in his blue hat and back on the ground in Minnesota was also shared by Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Attorneys representing the Ramos family says they are in the country legally from Ecuador as they pursue an asylum claim, adding they have shown up for all of their court hearings and were held on civil immigration violations. Lawyers have also said the 5-year-old boy was used as bait during the immigration raid, a claim federal officials have vehemently disputed, saying instead the boy was abandoned by his father, who tried to run away from agents, and that his mother refused to open the door when they tried to return the boy to her. Now, it's still unclear when Liam may return to preschool. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said in an interview that the Trump administration will appeal the judge's decision to release Ramos and also questions the family's account that they applied for asylum. After a judge ordered their release from a Texas detention center, U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro shared this video of the little boy being walked out of the facility on Saturday night. A photo of Liam back in his blue hat and back on the ground.
Sorry, people, I was at it again. I was trying to I'm sorry, I'm gonna quit doing that. I was trying to find this video of Laura Ingraham. Y'all have to see this. Made another fool of herself as usual.
You're
Okay,
going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to end.
Of course
Gentle
not.
lady,
How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend.
Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh, okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to end.
Of course not. How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend. The gentlelady will suspend.
Not the gentle
A
lady.
gentlelady will suspend. As I said, the issues we're debating here are important to ones that members feel deeply about.
Thank you,
While
Chairman.
vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum and debate. The witnesses are here voluntarily, and I will continue to remind members that while oversight is important, aggressively attacking those witnesses personally is inappropriate and not in keeping with the traditions of our committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just asking a question. You guys are always talking about religion here in the Bible. I mean, it's okay for me to ask a question, right? But let me continue on. I got your notes.
All right, the gentlelady may resume.
Thank you so much. Let me get back to my question, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I appreciate you. How many government agencies, Mr. Lyons, are you aware of that routinely kill American citizens and you still get funding?
Ma'am, I'm not going to entertain that.
Of course you're not. Exactly. Once again, questions that you cannot answer. And that is exactly why, Mr. Chairman, and to this committee, to my colleagues, and to my colleagues across the aisle, this is exactly why we should not be funding this agency. The people are watching you. They are watching you. And this is why we need to abolish ICE. Do you think you're...
Facts. We definitely need to abolish them. She asked him again, did he think he was going to hell or heaven? Oh, he's going to hell. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, and this is, some Black people complain when Jasmine Crockett or people like this lady here, go in about ICE or whatever. And then they say, oh, well, Jasmine Crockett doesn't ever do anything for Black folk and this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, trying to get rid of ICE is for Black folk too, because at the end of the day, aren't they harassing Black people? Didn't they kill a Black man? Okay, at the end of the day, I just want them gone, period. Back to hell where they literally came from. Okay? Now, let's go to Laura Ingram's ugly self. I hate this white woman. Let me tell y'all something. Ever since she said, shut up and dribble, okay, I have never liked her. I didn't like her before that, but I'm just saying I hated her after that. Okay, so now let's go to this video where she made a complete fool of herself. And then to make matters more interesting for us and entertaining, her brother talked all the trash about her. Okay, her own brother. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. You put an overlay on here.
many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap. Okay, I told you to clap. You guys aren't listening. I'm not going to grade you on a curve. So I was going to get to that. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation? How many of you are satisfied? You can clap.
Okay. Did y'all hear her? Did y'all hear them booing her? Please. At the end of the day, she is a horrible person. She's an absolute clown, if you ask me. Absolute clown. Now, with that all being said, so her brother came out and said some things about her. And we're going to get into it because Ben Mercedes from the Midas Touch actually interviewed the brother. Okay, so let's go to that footage. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Don't forget. Thank you.
Regime media, which calls itself Fox's chief propagandist, Laura Ingraham, is being exposed by her brother, Curtis Ingraham, for her cover-up of the Epstein files. Let me share with you what Curtis Ingraham wrote about Laura yesterday. Curtis wrote, "I think your continued support for a president mentioned 39,000 times in the Epstein files qualifies as more pathetic. Based on a review of the massive trove of documents released by the U.S. Justice Department, Donald Trump is mentioned more than 38,000 times across 5,300 files." And this was in response to his sister, Laura Ingraham, saying, "Nothing is more pathetic than a bunch of sports writers in their 40s and 50s pretending to like Bad Bunny in the hopes of annoying the Trump voters." Now, Laura Ingraham yesterday was doing everything she could to cover up and distract from the Epstein files. Yesterday, there was big news. Ghislaine Maxwell, one of Donald Trump's close friends, and she was, of course, convicted of child sex trafficking and then moved by Donald Trump from a Tallahassee secure prison facility to a club-fed VIP facility in Camp Bryant, Texas, after she spoke to Donald Trump's former criminal defense attorney, now the number 2 at the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche. So she invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination and refused to testify yesterday before the House Oversight Committee. And she was given questions like, can you provide any information about whether you and Jeffrey Epstein gave Donald Trump underage girls? Was Donald Trump involved in the sex trafficking enterprise? What do you know about other co-conspirators? Is Donald Trump promising you a pardon or clemency for your silence? She invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination for every one of those questions. Then her lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, read a statement saying that, well, if Donald Trump gives her clemency, she's happy to come forward and give a statement that would vindicate Donald Trump. I mean, can you get more obvious than that? Then there was additional news that broke yesterday, and this is why Laura Ingraham was trying to cover all of this up and generate a controversy about Bad Bunny and then just rile up that MAGA base that watches state regime media say, what we really need to care about is Bad Bunny's halftime show. That was like the most viewed halftime show in the history of the Super Bowl. That was, frankly, a great, inclusive, incredible performance. But yesterday you had Democrats and some Republicans as well from the House Judiciary Committee go to the Justice Department, and they were finally, after asking over and over again, permitted to look at the Epstein file redactions and have those redactions removed. And they uncovered, under those redactions, Donald Trump is mentioned as Trump's lawyers were speaking with Epstein's lawyers during the relevant time period about how Trump and Epstein would have this relationship, and that Epstein was American.
Phony. I'm worried.
Him and
sister has not found love. I think that is
propagandist, and she veered away from him and became this terrible human being. This is what Curtis Ingraham had to tell me. This was in the early days of the Midas Touch podcast. Here, play this clip.
I think the pathology comes from familial soil, and I've used that term in the past. So my father was a Nazi sympathizer. There was a copy of Mein Kampf on the living room bookshelf. He was abusive. He was an alcoholic. So we are in a family of anger, abuse. And I think that is what has happened to my sister. People say, well, how did you turn out so different? So in my life, I found love, and my sister has not found love. And so she's gone on this path where she's being honored and rewarded for the type of things that we learned in our childhood. She's getting credit for that anger and that destruction. There's no solutions being put forward. It's all just criticism and smearing. It's very Trumpian. She and Trump have a mindset, I think, that's very similar. The history with my sister, we were very, very close at one time. We would travel together. We would visit on the holidays. It was the type of thing where I would finish her sentences on a daily call. And she'd
When was that?
finish mine.
How old were you
then? This
then?
was in the 90s. This was in the mid-90s. And what happened was the relationship started to fray when she took a stand against gay marriage. And so she'd experienced my relationship with my partner of 12 years. So I ushered to death's door. And so when gay marriage came up, she took a stance of, no, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this. And so I kind of pulled back a little bit from her. But then later on, I was online and I saw a blog of something that she had done while she was at Dartmouth. So she was the editor of the Dartmouth Review, which is a conservative rag paper, she and Dinesh D'Souza. And it was before technology, so there were no phones, cell phones, or computers. But she sent her reporters in undercover, and they took the names of the people that were in that Gay Alliance meeting, and they published them in the paper. And in this blog that I read, it said that one kid actually committed suicide. Now, I can't verify that, but when I saw that, I sent her an email and I said, Laura, is this true? And she wrote back, it was legal language. I do not respond to blah, blah, blah. And so in my heart, I knew she's guilty. And so that's when I really pulled away. And it was, of course, when she went full blown Trump, in 2016, that I could not stay quiet any longer. And I'm just kind of calling out hypocrisy as I see it, her statements, her meanness, the way she's smearing people. I mean, you look, it all started with LeBron James, taking the knee and her saying to him, just shut up and dribble. I mean, I don't understand that type of person that attacks like this. And my sister, what I've learned is she is one who doesn't listen to understand. Hers is she listens to attack, and you can see it in her face. You can see it when she's talking to people on her show. There is no debate. There is no constructive debate. She has no expertise. This is what I'm saying. But people listen to her and they think, oh my God, she is the pillar of truth. She knows her facts. She does not. She is spinning. So she's a spin artist. And so these people, it's easy to buy into her spin because anger is easier than, constructive solutions. I cannot stay quiet. And there is, we have history in common, and I know things, about her. I have to reveal the hypocrisy that's going on, the immigration stance. She's got 3 immigrant children that she adopted. So how is that allowed? The vaccination, anti-messaging around vaccines. She's been vaccinated. They have. Murdoch got early access to the vaccinations. All his star assets were vaccinated. And yet they're spinning a counter tale, which I find is very destructive. And it's disinformation. And it's the spin that people are following. And those tropes that she throws out, the elites, the fake news, the biomedical state, socialism. And these people tap into those because she's so clever at spinning it.
Do you think she, kind of knows she is creating this fiction? Like, do you think she goes, it's like, I got a good one here. We call it biomedical, and then she's like, God, do you think it's that, planned out?
I do. She has a conscience. And unfortunately, that conscience is getting dimmer and dimmer as she goes further in her career. But the type of behavior to continue to do what you know is wrong and inherently a lie, I think, isn't that the definition?
Well, her brother told no lies. Unfortunately, he looks like her too. Unfortunately for him, they look alike. Okay. I would say he looks better because he's actually a man. Okay. So anyway, now let's talk about all of these resignations as of late. After these Epstein nefarious files came out.
If what's been revealed in the Epstein files has caused him to resign from the OpenAI board, and the chairman of the Paul Weiss law firm to resign, and him to resign from his job as the chief science officer at a wellness company, and her to resign from her role at the Swedish UNHRC, and him to step down from his membership in the UK Labour Party, then don't you think it's well past time for him to exit? What do you think? If what's been revealed in the Epstein files,
they all need to be out of here. Okay, that's what they need to do. Now listen to this, because the prosecutor for the Epstein case came out and said that Trump was the first person to reach out to him years ago to report on Epstein. Now here's the thing. Let me get this straight. What do you all think about this? What do you all think about this? They said Trump reached out to the prosecutor. Now, I did already know this, and I actually told you all this like a couple of years ago. So, because it was on, I saw the video, okay? And so he basically said, you know, they're bringing it back up that Trump reached out to him. And then there was a document that they claim was in the files. But somebody ran that document through the AI thing, and it said that it was AI. Okay, the document was AI, where it was talking about Trump like he was so nice and such a good person. All this, please miss me with it. Pam Bondi probably typed that crap up herself. Okay, please pay attention. And then stupid MAGA, they're nothing but a bunch of idiotic cult members who don't know left from right. Okay, and they'll believe anything that Trump says, just like he said previously. But they're sitting up there trying to take that and run with it, talking about, oh yeah, how do you leftists feel right now? Trump's innocent, he didn't do anything, da da da. And the prosecutor said he was the first one to call. He was the first one to call so he could try to paint a narrative. Okay, he was the first one to call so he could try to absolutely paint a narrative. That's what it was, because please listen to what they say that he told this man.
Newly released documents tonight say President Trump personally warned officials about Jeffrey Epstein decades ago. An FBI interview summary describing how President Trump called the then Palm Beach police chief to tell him, "Thank goodness you're stopping Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Adding people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting.
He kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club because Jeffrey Epstein was a creep, and that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning.
But President Trump said this in 2019.
No, I had no idea. I had no idea.
Now, y'all see that? But these idiotic MAGA fools want to say he's innocent. Now, this man tells one lie after the other. Look how he was looking so puzzled. Let me go back for a second. That look on his little ugly face. Hold on. Watch when they ask him. I'm done.
No, I had no idea. I had no idea.
The former Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder, not commenting to NBC News, but telling the Miami Herald the interview with Donald Trump happened in the summer of 2006. According to the document, the president told Ryder he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Mr. Trump said he got the hell out of there, and added about Epstein's convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, she is evil, and to focus on her. Newly.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. She is evil and to focus on her. Now, what he was doing right there, he was trying to manipulate the investigation by telling them who they need to look into, pointing the finger at Ghislaine rather than himself. I also think it's interesting that he said she was evil, but yet you sent her to Club Fed. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Why is she at Club Fed with a dog and getting all kinds of treats?
The released video shows Maxwell, now in prison, declining to answer lawmaker questions Monday.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
It's coming as Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick's under fire for his connection to Epstein, his former next-door neighbor, last year saying this about a 2005 visit.
My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
But DOJ records show Lutnick did interact with Epstein again.
Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me as well.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if your wife was with you. All that lets us know is that you and your wife are disgusting. Okay? Because y'all knew what that man was doing. Y'all knew exactly what he's doing. That just proves that you and your wife are nasty. And you're a liar. And you're a whole liar. Let me tell you something. All of these people have the same talking points when confronted about their ties to Epstein. Oh, I never knew what was going on. Oh, I cut him off immediately. And this, I wish I never met him. They have the same talking points. Okay, these people are all doing some nefarious things. And the ones that weren't knew about the nefarious things, which still makes them nefarious.
For my 4 children and nannies.
Lutnick has not been accused of wrongdoing in connection with Epstein, saying today he had no relationship with and barely anything to do with Epstein.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news.
You hear that, folks? Did y'all hear it? He had nothing to do, barely had a relationship and nothing to do with Epstein, but yet you're on a yacht with him. Hold on, check this out. You barely knew him and had nothing to do with him? Okay, well then why in the hell did you bring your kids around him, fool? You brought your kids around him. You brought your kids around him. So please make it all make sense, okay? Please make it all make sense. Just a liar who lies. Now, I want you all to pay attention because Trump just said he didn't know anything about the Epstein debacle. And they're acting like Trump was so big in helping with the investigation. Where do y'all hear what Trump has done in the Epstein files? Where do y'all hear this? Okay, please pay attention. Where do y'all get a load of this? All right? Talking about Trump like he's so beneficial and helpful.
To be one of the most important Epstein files. It's a 32-page letter that alleges Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and the Saudi elites all had ties and operated together. The DOJ actually deleted this file from their website yesterday, but thankfully it's been reposted. Take a look. Here's one of the pages. As you can see, it's kind of hard to read. I was able to transcribe it though, and that's what I'm going to show you. If you want to take a look at the whole thing for yourself though, all 32 pages, you can look up the file number right there on the DOJ's website and it should come up. The individual describes all of these events taking place at a house in New Jersey. They allege their father sent investigators to Seaside Heights, New Jersey, and found exactly what she told them to be true, including all of the firearms and ammunition stashed in the house, as well as claw marks where she allegedly clawed her way out of the room that she was locked in. These events took place when the individual was in high school. Now here comes the part about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She ended up getting pregnant. This was not the plan. They wanted to sell her to the Epstein bunch through Donald Trump. In the bedroom they had her locked up in, there were panels, and it was also close to the garage door. So when Donald Trump came, he didn't even have to step foot inside of the house. They just raised up the garage door and opened the panel so he could look at her. Donald Trump was standing in the driveway and had a clear view of her allegedly naked and on her knees on the mattress. When he saw her, he laughed and said, "She's pregnant? She doesn't look pregnant." One of the guys said that she is 2.5 months pregnant. Donald Trump said, "Is she on substances?" And the guy says, "Yes." Trump said, "We don't like for them to be pregnant because we love money. I guess they sell for less if they're pregnant." Then he goes on to say, "A doctor might cause her to miscarry, or if the child is a good-looking bee, we could sell the baby. You said she is religious. The Saudis like the religious ones. We'll disguise it out. You will tape her." One of the guys then tries to assault the girl. I guess they're going to record it, but she raised up her right foot and hurt the guy. Donald then shouted, "Deal's off. We won't take the violent females." And then he departed saying the deal's off. They asked, "What do we do with her?" Trump shouted, "Feed her to the fishes. I don't care what you do with her." If these allegations are true, then it means Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein coordinated with the Saudi elites and who knows how many elitists of other countries. We know Donald Trump is still doing personal business dealing. This has to be one of the most important.
Isn't that something? That is beyond nefarious. But hold on, there's more, because there's a doctor who's a top physician. Okay, he's an OBGYN, and he also supposedly practices fetal medicine. This man was working for Epstein. He was working for Epstein. Let me pull up the receipt. Dr. Mark Landon. Okay, let me pull up the receipt, honey, because this is all just a hot mess. And you know what he was doing for Epstein, right? Those girls were having babies. Okay, that's what this doctor was likely for, even though he's going to lie and try to tell us another story. Okay, this is it right here. Reference to Mark Landon. This is January the 4th of 2006. Now, mind you, let me just say this. There was also a man who basically asked the doctor, or asked Epstein in one of the emails, "Hey, what's that doctor you used to use in New York?" No, he said, "Hey, what's that doctor you used to use?" And then Epstein said, "New York?" Like he was asking, "New York? Like, how many doctors do you have?" He likely had more than one. But so anyway, the guy said, "Yeah." And the guy said, "I remember him saying that you basically," I forgot how he phrased it, but he was basically saying that the doctor had said that Jeffrey Epstein was basically paying his bills. Like he was paying most of his payments or whatever. So anyway, here's what it says. "Are you still paying Mark Landon? Eric was dealing with this, so I am not. Sure, what was decided when the previous payment was made? Landon's agreement. It requires quarterly payments of $30,000 to be made to Landon on the 15th of January, April, July, and October. Okay, the previous payment made to Landon was for $25,000 and not $30,000. The contract is terminable, okay, at will on 15 days prior notice. Okay, so is NYSG to make payment to Landon by January the 15th? And if so, for $25K or $30K? Please advise. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. So this doctor, now let's go to this news report about him because he's been exposed. I hope they kick him out of his practice. Okay, I hope people stop coming at the end of the day because he knows what he was doing was low down, and he wants to sit here and act like he wasn't doing anything because he had no idea what was going on. First of all, here's the question you should ask yourselves. Now, I can't say this man was doing anything, but I can tell you what I think he was doing, and here's what I think he was doing. When those girls were getting pregnant, I think that he was treating them, okay, possibly even delivering their babies, okay? I think that he was treating them for STDs, okay, and STIs, because we know that we're getting it, because that's all in the emails too. What do you think happened to Bill Gates with his nasty self? So I think that's absolutely what it's for. Now, this doctor lied and said that well, I'm not going to say he lied, but I believe he lied. He basically said he was consulting with Epstein. First of all, for what? You're a female doctor. You're an OBGYN. Why in the hell would you be consulting with Epstein? Okay, we know why. Please miss us with it. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I already did. Okay, let me go ahead and start it. Needs to sit down somewhere.
Dr. Mark Landon is well-known OBGYN at the OSU Wexner Medical Center. And while his name appears many times in the Epstein documents, again, there is nothing linking him to wrongdoing. Today, Dr. Landon says he had, quote, no knowledge of any criminal activities. Dr. Mark Landon, an Ohio State faculty member since 1987 and current chair of OSU's Department of OBGYN, says he did not provide any clinical care for Jeffrey Epstein or any of his victims. OSU sent a statement on behalf of Dr. Landon where he said he was, quote, a paid consultant for the New York Strategy Group regarding potential biotech investments from 2001 to 2005. The DOJ documents also show invoices from FedEx with deliveries made to Dr. Landon in Columbus during that same time frame, although contents weren't specified. However, in 2006, after Landon's consulting ended, the DOJ documents show internal emails asking Epstein if the company was still giving Landon his $25,000 quarterly payment. Epstein replied, $75 per year. There are more documents showing that when one of Landon's previous payments was due, someone from the strategy group said the company billed Les Wexner and his wife Abigail, quote, in advance as we have in prior years. As we have reported, Epstein was Wexner's money manager for decades until the New Albany billionaire says he broke ties with the disgraced financier. And as we said, Dr. Landon tonight saying he had no knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities, going on to say this, quote, I find them reprehensible and I feel terrible for Epstein's victims.
Now, videos included.
Okay. Now let's continue. Hold on. They're talking about videos in the Epstein files. Let's go to this. Hold on, let's pull this up. Let's pull these up real quick.
Now, videos included in the latest drop provide a disturbing look inside the life of the convicted sex offender. More than 2,000 videos make up hours of footage, and it includes videos recorded by Epstein, received from others, or downloaded from the internet. Joining me now is Tanya Lukyanova, a video journalist at the Free Press. She dug through hours of that video and can give us some analysis on what she saw. We should note Free Press and CBS News share a parent company in Paramount Skydance. Tanya, good morning. It's traumatic for people to even dig through these files and see what they see, but you've done that. I'm curious what jumped out at you that wasn't clear before.
I think that the biggest revelation here is in the overall find of in the sheer volume of these files. These files you can think of like if you were to see somebody's laptop or their phone or their devices, sort of like what kind of window into their psyche and private world can you glimpse at there? And I think we have not seen a new Epstein. We've seen these videos reveal the same Epstein over and over again, operating in plain sight, surrounded by enablers, insulated by wealth, and completely confident that this videos belong to him and they will never be sort of made public.
But you were telling me in the break that that's almost what jumps out at you, because he's recording these women and girls while he's speaking to them,
right,
thinking no one will ever see this footage.
The sheer volume of sexually explicit materials that he has asked his victims to send to him that have been found in his devices is sort of telling in and of itself. But, you know, for anybody who's asking how something like this could have been happening for so long and in plain sight, I think these videos do a lot in terms of answering that question. And they really reveal the banality of Epstein's evil, I think. You know, I think he's been such a mythological creature, mythical, I should say, creature. He's been, you know, we try to ascribe him some qualities that he might not possess because it's hard to kind of wrap our brain around how something like this could be happening. And I think these videos together, watched together, go a long way in terms of explaining how something like this could be happening.
Now, there is also a 2-hour interview conducted by Steve Bannon.
That's right.
What did that reveal?
Well, first of all, as you know, the emails have also revealed sort of a friendship of sorts that has been going on between Epstein and Steve Bannon. That is a bizarre interview. It was apparently intended for a sympathetic documentary that was meant to rehabilitate Epstein's image. It was conducted sometime in 2019. It's really meandering. It's almost 2 hours long. It goes through a number of topics. They talk about politics, economics, science, Epstein's ascent to elite institutions. But one of the bizarre moments comes at the very end, where Steve Bannon sort of out of nowhere begins to pressure Epstein on whether he is the devil himself. The conversation starts, they start talking about, you know, Bannon first asks him, you know, what does he think of institutions accepting money from somebody like himself, which is a tier 1 sexual predator. And Epstein defends his philanthropy by arguing that, you know, the recipients of the funds would not care about the source of the money. And he says, if the devil himself told mothers in Pakistan whose children are receiving polio vaccines that, you know, I'm going to exchange some money for your children's lives. And then that's where Bannon interjects and he goes, do you think you're devil himself? And Epstein tries to laugh it off, and Bannon bizarrely presses him on this subject. He's like, no, it's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself? And it ends up being one of the last questions. Then Epstein cuts him off in a couple of minutes and says he has to go.
Quite revealing of the psyche, the twisted logic that was used, and how close he was to powerful people for so long. Really fascinating to get your take, Tanya Lukyanova. Thank you very much for being here.
All nefarious. Now let's see something, people. Let's see something, okay? I'm gonna try something here. Talking about stop lying, Doc, okay? Claudette said, rehabilitate his image. How? Okay? Make it all make sense. Songwriter Sunny said, I watched that entire interview. I did not. Okay, I didn't even know it existed, I don't think. Now, with that all being said, let's check this out. Let me see if this is gonna work, you all. Let me see if this is going to work. Now, I want you all to pay attention because this is the Epstein library, right, on the DOJ's website. So are you 18 or older? Yes. Verified. Okay. Now we're going to scroll on down and it says full library. So now I'm going to type in no images. I'm just trying something. Produced. No images produced. All right. So it pulls up the data sets. Where do I want to go? Okay, I'm going to go here. Because here's the thing. I'm copying this link, right? Now, I want you all to pay attention. Now, so now that I've copied the link, I'm going to stop the share because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another tab. We're just trying this out. We'll see if it works. I hope it does. Okay, now I'm going to go to this tab, this new tab, and I'm going to post the link. Hold on. Let me share the screen with you all first. Make sure y'all see this. Okay, here we go. Now, as y'all can see, there's nothing here. So I'm going to post the link that I just got from the DOJ's website. Now, as you can see, it says PDF. I'm going to erase or delete PDF and replace it with MP4 and see if I can pull up a video. Don't let it work. Oh, I was going to say, don't let it work. Y'all see that? Do y'all see that? All right. Y'all see that, right? So with that all being said, let me see what's going on in this video. It's kind of long. Who's that? Y'all see somebody's like a, hey, hey, hey. All right, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, so that worked. So with that all been said, I guess I know what I'll be doing tonight. Okay? I know what I'll be doing tonight, going through videos. All right, please pay attention. And then bring it all back to school. Okay? Y'all see that? That really worked. We the people said the queen is a whole sleuth. All right, honey, I'll be trying things. Okay, so now with that all being said, I can't believe it worked. That's hilarious to me. Okay, so now with that being said, let's continue because let's go to what Putin said. Okay, what Putin said about these clowns. He called them vampires. He called them vampires. I bet you who isn't in the Epstein list. Remember, I told you all. Hold on. Byron B said, Queen, you're a hacker. Admit it. You know, I am good with computers. Please pay attention. Okay? Now, listen here. I want you all to see this. What Putin had to say, because Putin wasn't in those Epstein files, except for Epstein saying that he wanted to get to him and meet him. Now, I'm going to translate what he's saying. Or no, I think they have subtitles. Okay? I think that, yeah, they got subtitles. Good. This is a very brief clip, but just pay attention to what he said.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами.
They're used to stuffing their bellies with human flesh and their pockets with money.
Но они должны понять,
But they need to
бал
understand
вампиров
that the vampire ball's coming to an end. Y'all hear that? Let's play it again.
столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами.
They're used to for centuries stuffing their belly with human flesh and their pockets with money.
Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
Who said the vampire ball is coming to an end, baby? Okay, not the vampire ball. Okay, Juju said Queen juked the system. Okay. Now, do y'all hear that? Putin called them vampires, and that's what they are. Devils. Absolute devils. Okay, so now let's go to Lifetouch. Do y'all know, how many of you all know who Lifetouch is? Put it in the chat. How many of you beloveds know who Lifetouch is? Y'all know who Lifetouch is, right? Look at Cincy Prophetic Bastard talking about my laptop got hacked. Queen, was it you? I have nothing to hide. Mostly pics of my pets and some with some fine ladies of my own age, so I ain't stressing. Plus, I ain't got no big bank account. Beloved, now you know darn well the Queen did not hack your account. Why would I do that? Okay. Now let's get into it because yeah, so y'all, some of y'all heard about it. Yeah, Lifetouch. Isn't that something? All nefarious. Now, for those of you who haven't heard, okay, Lifetouch, they made I was about to say they made movies. They made took our pictures when we were in school. But guess what these devils were alleged to have been doing? Making catalogs of the students' pictures for Epstein and his minions. Okay, Sunset Night says, thank you for keeping your foot on their gizzards, bringing us facts we can trust, receipts. Well, thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And you're absolutely welcome. It is my pleasure. Y'all know I love doing research. Okay, so let's get into it because this is also egregious. I mean, how did he have all of these connections?
You're a parent, I need you to stop and watch this video because what I've been going through in the Epstein file should concern everyone, but especially parents. Now, stick with me on this because it's important. If you have kids, or even from when you were a kid, you probably remember a company called Lifetouch. They're the company that takes school photos, and they've been around for decades. In fact, I remember them taking my school photos when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of you probably remember that too. So this is a company that has been around for a while and has had routine access to American and Canadian schools for generations. Well, today, Lifetouch is owned by Shutterfly, which was acquired by a company called Apollo Global Management. That means Lifetouch and Shutterfly now sit in the same corporate structure. Now, when people hear school photos, they tend to think it's just a picture. It's not. School photo systems typically include a child's name, their school, their grade, their teacher, classroom information. Parents then provide home addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and payment details. All of that information is tied directly to an image of a child, your child, and stored long-term for reorders, archives, and future access. They don't ever delete the photos. Shutterfly separately holds millions of consumer uploaded family photo accounts. Those accounts include images of children, often labeled with names, dates, schools, personal details that parents upload themselves. And again, stick with me here. So what you end up with are two massive pipelines of children's images and identifying information living under one corporate umbrella. That umbrella is Apollo. Now, Apollo was co-founded by a man named Leon Black. Leon Black's financial relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is documented in court records, including payments, settlements, and Epstein-related legal exposure. In 2023, Leon Black paid $62.5 million to the U.S. Virgin Islands to resolve claims connected to the Epstein investigation and child trafficking. Leon paid Jeffrey Epstein roughly $158 million over several years. Now, he denies any wrongdoing, but the settlement exists. Leon Black stepped down from Apollo because of all these allegations, accusations, etc., and a man named Mark Rowan took over as CEO. Well, wouldn't you know it, Mark Rowan also appears heavily in the Epstein files and emails, things like calendar entries, arranging meetings and breakfasts with Jeffrey across multiple years. Now, I'm not accusing of Mark Rowan of a crime. I'm not alleging wrongdoing by Lifetouch employees because I don't want to get sued, and I'm not claiming Shutterfly is misusing data. But when the former leader of a firm had documented financial ties to Epstein and the current CEO appears in Epstein's scheduling records, it's reasonable to pause and ask questions, especially when that same firm controls the companies handling massive databases of children's photos and personal information of those children. This isn't abstract, y'all. This is your child's photo, your child's name, your child's school, and your home information. And at the very least, people deserve to know who controls the systems holding that data.
Now, isn't that awful? Yes, her face did look like it was burned. Oh my goodness. And those pictures were in the Epstein files. Every one of them. Every one of them. It looked like her poor little face was burned. Let's not forget they spoke of torture. Okay, they spoke about torture and they're so darn sad. So sad. Let's continue. Absolutely heartbreaking.
I love that Lifetouch Photos came out with a statement that was like, we did not sell your children's school photos to a billionaire pedophile. Okay, there's a lot of misinformation, and that is not what happened. What happened is there's already a couple billionaire pedophiles that own the company, and so they didn't have to sell or give away anything. They already had access to your school photos for multiple generations of American school children. Okay, just hope that puts everyone's mind at ease that your school children's photos are safely stowed away in the hands of billionaire pedophiles. Allegations aside, have you seen a photo of Leon Black, the guy who owns Lifetouch? He is very disturbing. He looks like he shouldn't be within 300 yards of a school photo. Like, I feel like there's a restraining order that prevents him from owning a yearbook. I mean, even his own corporate yearbook photo is very disturbing. It's like, what the fuck is going on? They need to touch a little more life into his face. I do love that Lifetouch Photos came out with a statement.
I was trying to figure out, I'm sorry, y'all. I was trying to figure out what kind of hairstyle he had. It looked like a rooster. Did y'all see it? At least he had hair. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about the billionaires in the Epstein files. Remember what I told you all about billionaires.
Fourth and final part of every single billionaire mentioned in the latest batch of the Epstein files. First up today is a really disturbing one. It's hedge fund founder Glenn Dubin and his wife Ava, who actually was Epstein's girlfriend in the 80s. And we've known that these two were super close to Epstein since they told his probation officer in 2010 that they would be 100% comfortable having Epstein around their children. But now we're learning that around that time, Ava Dubin wrote to Epstein, "Come and visit next week. Selena will have 5 friends over." Selena was their then teenage daughter. together. And then we have Swiss banking CEO Ariane de Rothschild, and she and Epstein had a very friendly dynamic. They got together often in New York or Paris, and at one point Epstein even invited her to stay at his house. Next up is Ronald Lauder, heir to the Estee Lauder fortune, and new records show Epstein helped him set up a legal business venture so that he could buy a $25 million painting with fellow Epstein pal Leon Black. We talked about the disturbing allegations against Black in part 2, so go back and watch that if you haven't. Epstein and Lauder also got together socially a few times in 2017. And then we have Tom Pritzker of the Pritzker family, and new messages show he had a social relationship with Epstein from 2010 all the way to 2019. After one hangout, Epstein wrote, "Nice to see you, please come more often," and Pritzker replied, "Always fun." And then we have Larry Page, who co-founded Google, and new records show Page's chief pilot reached out to Epstein's team in 2010 to see if he could borrow Epstein's helicopter over the holidays. And Epstein was prepared to charge him $56,000 for a one-week rental, but Page ultimately decided to travel to St. Bart's by boat. I think examples like this are important to include because it shows how crazy Epstein's lifestyle really was. If you want to see the complete list of every single billionaire in the new Epstein files, we just put that out on our Substack. And my co-host Mabel and I are about to record another dump of Epstein.
Okay, this rabbit hole just gets worse and worse. Okay. Now, with that all being said, do you all know that oh, I almost forgot. Hold on. I have something to show you all. Hold on, because Clarence Thomas. I almost forgot about him. Judge Clarence Thomas. Let's get into it. I'm about to pull up this email on him. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, beloveds. Now, that all being said, let's talk about it. Okay, this was sent September the 18th of 2018. Why I leaked the Anita Hill affidavit. That's what it says. I shall identify myself only as a female aide to a Republican senator. It is always relevant that I have long nurtured a keen interest in psychohistory, the process by which a nation's direction is interpreted as an extension of the psychological makeup of those individuals who govern it. Now, without going into specific detail, let me simply state that on October the 5th of 1991, I happened to hear part of a conversation among Judge E2. Okay, I don't know who that is. Now Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Okay, that's him. Senator Orrin Hatch and Senator Alan Simpson. The three were meeting informally one week, but after the Judiciary Committee voted, first 7-7, then 13-1, to recommend the confirmation of Judge Thomas. And one day after, the full Senate indicated that he would be confirmed. Y'all remember the Anita Hill situation? The conversation I happened to hear had to do with those charges brought by Anita Hill and ignored by the members of the committee. Okay, yeah. Okay, both Democratic and Republicans. Now, at that point in time, I still thought that it was an appropriate response because the alternative would have been to hold an executive session and Judge Thomas would have had no practical choice but to resort to heavy denial. Now, however, these men were in a jocular fashion, acknowledging the truth of what would turn out to be the Professor Hill 99 allegations. Okay, Senator Simpson, hold on. I don't want to go through all of this. I'm trying to get to the, hold on, beloveds. Hold on. I'm trying to see something. Okay, here it is right here. This is the part y'all need to hear. I want y'all to pay attention. This is all so gross. Okay, so here's what it says. Okay, Senator Simpson was saying, you know, Clarence, I've seen some pretty raunchy corn movies, okay, in my time, but I never did see one where the lady was having blank with an animal. I'll never forget it, Judge Thomas replied in his riveting, sonorous tone. Okay, they were in a barn, except that the inside of the barn was like a theater. Senator Hatch interjected, saying, "Summer stock, eh? No pun intended." There was a stage at one end, okay, 80 at one end, I don't know what this is, must be a typo. Judge Thomas continued his description, and the stage was facing rows and rows of wooden folding chairs. There were haystacks piled up on the stage, and in front of the haystacks, there was a beautiful, buxom blonde woman and a donkey. Well, the woman began disrobing, and she started stroking the donkey to, you know, isn't this crazy? Doesn't sound at all sleazy to me. That's what Senator Simpson said. Actually, it had Beethoven piano sonatas playing in the background, Judge Thomas said. Well, when the woman was fully disrobed and the donkey was fully aroused, they began, you know what, right there in front of those haystacks on the stage of that barn, slow and sensual, then bumping and grinding away. This is all sick. They literally watched it, accompanied by passionate moans and wild braying. Okay, you've never seen a sight like this, I promise. And then the camera panned slowly toward the audience, and the audience consisted entirely of donkeys. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? An audience full of donkeys? Let me just have several seats myself, okay? But let's keep going. The Senate office shook with raucous laughter, especially that of Judge Thomas. His booming guffaws rang like huge gongs in a church belfry. Okay, in Belfry. And I must admit, I had to suppress my own laughter. I had been totally caught by surprise, but I appreciated getting the sight. Homo sapiens is, in reality, the only species that has had a need for a corn. When the group's laughter finally began to simmer down, Senator Hatch said, "I suppose that movie was one of the demands of the animal rights people." "That's correct," Senator Simpson added. "Saving animals' lives is no longer enough. They need culture." Felt like I was imprisoned in the boys' locker room, but I was getting ready to force myself to leave anyway, and it would have ended right there for me if the subject matter hadn't returned to Anita Hill. Do y'all hear this? This is absolutely nefarious. So I'm sorry, who wants to watch that besides some sick-minded individuals? And this man is a Supreme Court justice, mind you. You know, it just goes to show, in my opinion, that the things that Anita Hill said about him were probably absolutely 100% accurate. Okay? Probably 100% accurate. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this Trumper who killed his own. Now, this guy is going to say, I think he's going to say this happened recently, but this actually happened last year. Okay, but the story has just resurfaced, and I'm glad it did because I had never even heard about it. Had you all put a one in the chat if you had? This man shot his own daughter over Trump.
Another person today, but this time the father had killed his own daughter due to disputes about Trump, her being anti-Trump. A British woman who was shot dead by her father while visiting his home in Texas had argued with him about United States President Donald Trump earlier that day. She traveled to the United States on holiday, and she would often become upset with her father when he spoke about owning a gun. The father was an alcoholic who's been previously to rehab, and it's claimed that he relapsed the day of the shooting by having some wine. The daughter asked the father, "How would you feel if I was the girl in that situation and I'd been sexually assaulted?" The MAGA father replied that he had 2 other daughters who lived with him, so it would not upset him that much. Lucy became quiet and upset after that and ran upstairs. That same day, she was shot in the chest by her father and killed. And the police investigated it, but no criminal cases has been brought against Chris Harrison, the father, after a grand jury in Collin County declined to indict him in Texas. What people need to realize is this is not an isolated incident. There are so many cases where MAGA parents will abuse their children. The children will probably, in this video right now, will share their stories. How much suffering they endure from their MAGA parents because of different beliefs, the abuse they go through. Same thing with wives that are trying to leave their MAGA husbands.
the way that they practically imprison and threaten their wives to stay with them, to vote for Trump. This is not some sort of conspiracy. There are thousands of people like this. There are groups dedicated to just leaving MAGA and leaving MAGA husbands. This is like insane. The United States has lost its mind. We are literally experiencing like almost mass religious psychosis, but the religion is not like even worshiping God. It's worshiping a pedo. Like, what is happening? This is not okay.
No, it isn't normal, but MAGA's not normal. MAGA is nothing more than a bunch of stupid ass idiots, okay? And I wish they would just all disappear simultaneously, okay? I wish they would all just disappear simultaneously. But I'm going to tell you about MAGA. They're a whole cult, and I've already told you all that. But we're going to go to a former cult member who breaks it on down why they're so ignorant, okay? Please pay attention. But before we do, let's go to Roseanne Barr. And I'm going to have to put up an overlay on this. Now, if you all didn't see it, I know some of you probably did. This is an interview that she did with Tucker Carlson recently.
They eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats.
Now listen to Tucker's racist R's trying to deflect by bringing up dogs and cats. Sit your ass down somewhere. Nobody ate no damn dogs and cats, but let's continue.
They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring.
And I want you all to pay attention because the people that started this ish, they're the ones who came up with the whole idea of vampires, okay? I want y'all to pay attention.
At me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They covered it all up. And, you know, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country. By the time we go into vote for Trump, that he will open up everybody's eyes and they will stop pretending to be asleep. You know what they say, you can't wake people up that are pretending to be asleep, but I pray to God, please wake up even those who are pretending to be.
Now, y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Yeah, she is mentally ill. But at the end of the day, she's talking about the people in Hollywood. Okay, she's talking about the people in Hollywood. And that's the point. The people in Hollywood, that's what she said they do. So that's for darn sure, in my opinion, what Epstein and the rest of them were doing, okay? But she voted for Trump at the end of the day with her ridiculous self. Now, here's another clip. I wonder if she's read those Epstein files to know that Trump is one of the same people she was talking about.
Somebody, and they said to me, well, they think they're more than human.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I go, they're not even human because humans care about their environment and their neighbors, and humans care about, you know, other people's children.
Of course.
And humans care about living things.
Yes.
But they don't do any of that. And he goes, because they think they're more than human.
Oh, I noticed.
They
That's why they
think
want to
they're
live
royal. forever.
I guess they probably do, honey, but sadly for them, they're not. Okay, they're absolutely not. Okay, so now, with that all being said, they have an update on Savannah Guthrie's mom. So we're going to go to that. And while you are watching that, I'm going to pull up that video where the former cult member was talking about what's going on with these MAGA idiots. Because that's what they are.
Regardless of the gloves, regardless of the mask and the clothing and whatever, there's some things you just cannot hide.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when we're familiar with someone, we know them well. Their very presence can identify them to us. But I want to switch topics just for a second and think about the evidentiary value that might be found at the vehicle stop. This is really critical because whatever is found in that car, they're going to have to probably get a search warrant for it, but they're going to, that could be a treasure trove of evidence and also the ability that might lead to the victim here. So I just think we can't discount what the investigative process is going to produce from that vehicle stop and the treasure trove of information that they may be able to get from that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to, you probably cannot see this here, but we just had 2 or 3 vehicles pull up from the sheriff's department here. All of the vehicles have their lights on. We don't know if they're here for some reason. We don't know if they're maybe just kind of clearing out parking. It's kind of unknown at this point, but we have a third vehicle here again with the lights on. And it's a good thing the lights are on because Randy's right and Chris is right. It is so dark out here. I mean, look, the stars look amazing, but it is so dark. There is very little light pollution out here, and it is difficult to see. Right now, you look over there, and if you're walking up at 1:30 or 1:45 in the morning, it's going to be difficult.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News.
Sit down somewhere talking about hot interviews. Okay, I'm so done. Okay, folks, it looks like I don't have that darn video. I thought I sent it to my... Oh, yes, I do. Okay. I was about to say, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to put an overlay on this because this is a YouTube video that she supposedly posted to X. Okay, so let's get into it.
This is an essay that I wrote called The Cult of MAGA and Conservative America's Obsession with the Apocalypse by Daniela Mestenek Young. I believe this was originally going to be in The Culting of America, but it has been cut. It's not been published. If anyone wants to publish it, get in touch with me. I knew Donald Trump was going to win the presidency in 2016, not in spite of his extremism, but because of it. On November 8th, 2016, much of America was plunged into confusion as Donald Trump became the 45th president of the United States. Many have since been watching in disbelief as the cult of MAGA has grown before our eyes. People are often baffled by the steadfast support Trump receives from groups that claim to value morality and family values. Trump, a thrice divorced man involved in scandals and now a convicted felon, seems to contradict everything they stand for. Yet to anyone familiar with the psychology of cults, this unwavering allegiance isn't surprising at all. Cult members aren't afraid of an apocalyptic world. They're prepared for it. They've already sacrificed everything to be right, even if that means cheering for the world to burn. I'm Daniela Mestenek Young, a survivor of one of the world's most infamous cults, the Children of God, which you can read about in my best-selling memoir, Uncultured. Signed copies attached here, or you can listen to me read it to you anywhere you get your audiobooks. I've seen how cult dynamics play out, not only in religious settings, but in extreme groups across different fields. After growing up in a cult, I served as a U.S. Army intelligence officer, studying terrorist behavior and tactics. My experiences have shown me that loyalty to a flawed leader isn't a contradiction. It's a feature of cult mentality. I saw it in the Children of God. I saw it in my counterterrorism work, and I see it in the MAGA movement today. In this essay, I'll explore the parallels between cults and modern political movements, particularly Trumpism. We'll break down how cults form, the psychology behind their followers' loyalty, and how Donald Trump has positioned himself as a deified figure, defended by his supporters with what I call the King David defense. Finally, we'll look at what happens when the prophecy fails, when the promised apocalypse doesn't arrive, and how we as a society can help those who want to walk away from the MAGA cult, although nobody is required to help, accept, or forgive them, to be very clear. Many people think cults are fringe groups we only hear about in extreme cases, like Jonestown, the Branch Davidians in Waco, or Warren Jeff's FLDS child brides. The Children of God, the cult I was born into, was one of these radical extremist groups. My parents and grandparents, like so many others, gave up everything to follow a man they believed would lead them through the apocalypse into a new world order. We lived in isolated compounds where education didn't matter because we believed the world was ending soon. Children like me weren't expected to have futures. We were raised to be soldiers in God's end-time army. There I am, dressed as a soldier, as a 2-year-old. When the apocalypse predicted for 1993 didn't happen, our leaders explained it away by saying God gave us more time to convert more people, and life went on. When I share this story, people are often horrified, but cults aren't as rare as we think. Cult mentality can emerge anywhere people surrender their loyalty to a leader who they believe embodies their identity. The larger the group, the more powerful the cult becomes, as it starts to feel like the norm, not extremism. I've been told that 75 million people can't be in a cult, but a cult is defined by the power and fame of its leader, and no group is too big to be a cult. One of the first lessons I learned in the Children of God was that outsiders were dangerous. We were chosen. The outside world was doomed. This us versus them mentality is at the heart of cult behavior. It thrives on fear of persecution, fear of the imagined enemy. Cult leaders, whether religious or political, position themselves as the savior, the only one who can protect their followers from the threats they themselves have manufactured. In the MAGA movement, Donald Trump has positioned himself as the protector from a variety of so-called dangers. The deep state, the media, political opponents. He has painted them as enemies out to destroy America, fostering a siege mentality among his followers. This constant sense of threat makes the group more insular, more paranoid, and more loyal. They don't see Trump's flaws as disqualifying. They see them as proof that he is being attacked because he is right. The more the world condemns him, the more his followers cling to him. It was clear to me, even during Trump's 2016 campaign, that his rhetoric matched classic cult behavior. I was frustrated that so many people couldn't see the danger he posed. Trump's followers don't just see him as a politician. They see him as their last hope, the only person who can protect them from the collapse of their world. This belief was evident on January 6th, 2021, when his supporters stormed the Capitol. They genuinely believed they were defending their country from destruction, much like the Branch Davidians believed they were defending themselves from government tyranny. In both cases, the leader convinced his followers that the enemy was at the gates and that extreme measures were necessary to protect the cause. When people on the left ask how MAGA supporters can rally behind someone like Trump, who seems to embody the opposite of their conservative family values, they often encounter what I call the King David defense. This defense allows Trump's followers to justify his behavior by drawing comparisons to the biblical King David, a terrible, horrible person, a deeply flawed leader, chosen by God despite his moral failings. David's adultery, rape of Bathsheba, and his role in her husband's death didn't disqualify him as God's chosen leader, and Trump's supporters see the same divine hand in their leader. The King David defense works as a thought-stopping technique, allowing Trump's followers to rationalize his actions. Trump's moral failings, his affairs, lies, and criminal convictions, and probably the raping of children, are viewed as irrelevant because, like King David, he's seen as the flawed vessel chosen for a higher purpose. His imperfections are dismissed in favor of the belief that he is saving the nation. This defense operates on a deep psychological level, reinforcing the cult-like loyalty Trump has cultivated. By framing Trump's behavior as part of a divine plan, his followers can dismiss any criticism as an attack on their belief system. Trump isn't just a politician to them. He represents their values, their identity, and their fight against the perceived corruption of the system. The King David defense also taps into the us versus them dynamic, so necessary for cults and coercive control. Criticism of Trump is seen not just as an attack on him, but on his followers and their values. By framing Trump's personal failings as irrelevant, his followers remain loyal, even in the face of overwhelming evidence of his misconduct. This psychological investment in Trump goes beyond politics. It becomes about identity and worldview. One of the most dangerous aspects of cults is their obsession with apocalyptic thinking. Growing up in the Children of God, I was constantly told that the end of the world was near and that we were the chosen ones who would survive and rebuild. This belief gave us a sense of purpose, but also fueled a persecution complex. The more we believed the world was ending, the more we felt under attack by the outside world. America has a long history of apocalyptic thinking. It's been woven into the fabric of our culture since the earliest days. From the Puritans who believed they were building a new Jerusalem in a world on the verge of divine judgment, to 19th century doomsday movements like the Millerites who predicted the end of the world in 1844, which they called the Great Disappointment when it didn't happen. Apocalyptic beliefs have shaped everything from religious revivals to political movements. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we see it again with groups like Jim Jones's People's Temple or David Koresh's Branch Davidians, who both led their followers toward violent ends under the belief that the apocalypse was imminent. In America, this kind of thinking has never really gone away. It's just shifted forms, finding new leaders and causes to rally around. We're not going to get to finish, but we see the same apocalyptic rhetoric in the MAGA movement. Trump's followers believe America is on the verge of collapse, and he is their last hope to save it. This sense of impending doom justifies extreme actions. When you believe the end is near, anything seems acceptable in the name of survival. That's why we've seen MAGA supporters engage in violence and lawlessness. They truly believe they are fighting for their way of life. Trump has played into this mentality perfectly, casting himself as the only one who can protect his followers from the chaos he claims is coming. January 6th wasn't just a riot, it was a manifestation of apocalyptic thinking. Trump's supporters believed they were defending their country, and they were willing to go to any lengths to do so. Cults are always
Okay, cults are always out for political control, and in today they have gotten it. I want y'all to pay attention. That was some very insightful information. LeVar says, I think both the extreme far left and the extreme far right operate as cults. Both think they are morally righteous and attack anyone who thinks differently, even if that belief isn't extreme. You know, I have to agree, beloved. I have to agree. Absolutely. And thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now this is a guy, I forgot to play his video, but this man right here had me pumped. This man right here had me ready to take to the streets. I got mad as hell because I'm already mad. And here's the thing. I really feel like people aren't mad enough about this whole Epstein thing with all this stuff that's been alleged to have happened to these children. I really think that people are not mad enough. People get more mad about BS. Okay? Why aren't people out in the streets protesting about what they're finding out in these darn files? All right? But let's get into it, because this man right here, he said he's ready to go to war, basically. He's calling any who'll apply. Let's get into it. Like up, everyone, please like and share.
Literally, they have dinner tables with pregnant women getting on the table with plates.
Now, I want you all to listen to what he said. I'm going to roll this back for a second, but I need you all to listen to what he said he saw in the Epstein files. Now, I can't speak on this because I haven't found that yet. There's so many emails, like I told you, but there's been other people who said that they saw this stuff too. Okay, I'm going to look for it tonight.
Literally, they have dinner tables with pregnant women getting on the table with plates as the woman delivers the baby onto a plate for the individuals at these dinner tables. They're feasting. If that's not disturbing enough, there's so much more deep stuff that they haven't found yet. There's 3 million pages. And trust me, we the people who are working on it, we're all working on it. We're all looking. This is going to have ties to every government official, cop, politicians, all the people at the Grammys. I mean, everybody. There's going to be so many people. It's going to get sickening. And this is 100,000 times worse than the dark web. For instance, like Roblox, there's 46,000 cult organizations watching your kids on your iPads on Roblox in the United States of America. And what's in the Jeffrey Epstein files, there's over hundreds of thousands of cult organizations in it. I'm telling y'all, it's bad. It's real bad. Every school in America where your kid goes to school, there's an organization with the Jeffrey Epsteins. It's not just the Jeffrey Epsteins. Trust me, there's somebody in his shoes right now. But that organization, they have a deal for every school in the United States of America where your kids go. Literally, when they take their picture for the yearbook, right, sends to that every school district to that one specific place. They look at every one of them. They have a team of them, and they pick the ones they want. Last names, family trees, real deep, and it's sick. And they'll pick some of them out, and they'll just disappear from these schools. You'll never see them again. We'll never see them again. So, like, every day that you get up and go to work, I just want you to know that's what's on my mind now. It'll never leave my mind unless we do something. The Constitution of the United States states that you can literally overthrow your government. And I'm sorry, but I think this generation's gotten soft. And I'm 29 years old, and I've lived through 6 years of world record inflation. And now they dropped this on us before the Super Bowl. Now, we knew it was going to be bad, but I mean, this should be an awakening. This is the worst of the worst. If we don't do something, I don't know what to say, but I can't continue to feed this crap. I'm ready. I'm prepared for anything. And we could all stand united. Doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, conservative. This should reunite all of us. Right now, instead of ready for work Monday, we should all be in the street. I mean, where you live right now, the street is right there. We could all walk on the street. We could all use our voices. We could all do something instead of feeding the system with this shit. I just can't do it no more. I can't. But I'm ready. I need to know where the real men are, the old school cats, and I'm talking about all colors, Mexicans, blacks, whites, all colors, Indians, you name it. I'm ready. Count me in. I'm ready. I'm literally ready. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to mess some people up with our United States Constitution. I'm ready to mess some people up, and not scared to death. Not scared to death, and nobody should be. I think this is our calling. If you're alive, I think this is our calling. I think it's time. I think it's time for us to take action. They'll say violence is never the answer. Well, you know, when you push a dog to the corner so bad, eventually it'll bite back. And I think this is our shot, people. I think this is our shot to kick in doors and kick in teeth. I think it's time to make action for us. I think we could do it. And when we do it, let's all take a vacation the rest of our life. You know, we don't have to work like a slave like we all have been for all these years with this indoctrination, school system, hospitals, 18 years wasted of your life at school. And then they tell you to go to college and you're in debt until you're 90 years old. I'm ready, yo. I'm ready.
That man said, where y'all at? I see y'all in the chat sitting here being scared. I see y'all in the chat scared, talking about, go on, buddy, you got it. Let me tell y'all something. All of y'all sound crazy as hell. Y'all sitting here talking about, y'all don't have nothing to do with this. If you have children, you have something to do with this. What are y'all talking about? Y'all don't have children? I'm sorry, say what? Y'all don't have kids? Are y'all sick in the head? Why in the hell aren't y'all mad enough? Why aren't y'all mad enough? Are y'all out of y'all's damn minds? Have y'all seen what's in the files? Y'all think this shit is a game? Y'all think this is a game? Y'all really sitting here acting like y'all don't give a damn? Y'all are some stupid ass people for real. Everybody's saying that you gotta be stupid. Okay? You gotta be stupid at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. Y'all have children. I know you do. And if you don't have children, you have nieces and nephews. You have grandchildren. I'm mad as hell. I literally been in my house crying for days at some of the stuff I saw in these files. It is sick. It is disgusting to know that people did this to little babies, to children. Y'all are not mad enough, but I'm going to tell y'all something. And I want everybody to pay attention, because what I told you all that is going to happen if nobody does something to stop them, that it's going to be so effed up for all of y'all, including me. Y'all going to wish y'all had done something in a minute. And I promise you that. Now, y'all can sit there and say y'all don't want to go out there and protest against ICE. Okay, that's one thing. But when they're talking about these children, the Epstein files, and y'all do know Black children, things happen to them too, right? Y'all do know that, right? Y'all do realize that there was some Black children that these things happened to with the Epstein files. Y'all do know that, right? I'm sorry. DJ Big Six said, don't cry, I'm protecting me and mine. Oh, so that's all you care about is me and mine? At the end of the day, that's what's wrong with Black people. See, Black people, most of our people only care about themselves. They don't give a damn about other Black people. That's the problem. And that's why you Negroes can't unite. Y'all done pissed me off this morning. At the end of the day, y'all done pissed me off this morning. Okay? Nessie X said, I'm very angry. Yeah, I am too. Byron said, Queen, I've been upset for too long. Things are going to happen in this world that's beyond our control. These things has to happen. I've just accepted it. See, that's the problem. You have a defeatist mentality. But I'm going to tell you what. Y'all don't even know what's coming. I wish I could tell y'all. I'm gonna have to do that song I told y'all I was gonna do or whatever, so y'all can understand. Y'all asses is gonna be messed up. Y'all are about to be slaves. Pay attention. Y'all are about to go right back into slavery. And don't say that I didn't warn you. Because guess what? This government that y'all think y'all have, it's not our government anymore. Our government has been infiltrated. Not only has our government been infiltrated, but so have our corporations. These people that I'm talking about have bought in to the companies that own the weapons, that sell the weapons. They're in control of the food. Y'all about to be real messed up. Why y'all think they've been trying to get the farmers to give them their land and all of that? Oh, it's going to be worse than digital slavery, Edward. It's going to be worse than digital slavery. Y'all see what's going on in the Gaza Strip? Do y'all see what's going on in the Gaza Strip? Well, you know what I mean, soul sister. When you say it was never our government, yeah, it never was. I'm talking about the government of the United States, beloved. Okay? Now, with that all being said, Byron B said, why get upset over something you can't control? Well, at the end of the day, just because you may feel you can't control something, you can do something about it. You can do something about it. I don't want to live in a world with these devils in control, running things. And you best to be thinking about your future generations. Do you care about that? Because I'm telling you, the things they're about to do, let me just say, it's going to affect the future generations. Okay? It's going to affect the future generations. The lovely T said, God help us, Queen. Yeah, but guess what? God helps those who help themselves. That's what y'all need to realize. Byron talked about he prays. We all pray. But prayer without works is dead. Okay? Prayer without works is dead. Period. Okay? DJ Big Six said you can't even talk about it due to censorship. Exactly. But you can get in the streets. Now, you can talk about it. You just can't talk about it on YouTube. You can talk about it on Rumble and Brighteon. You can't talk about it on YouTube. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. I'm looking at these comments, and some of y'all are really disappointing. Some of y'all, especially the Black men, I know y'all have kids. I know y'all do. And y'all give zero else about what's going on. But what the hell am I sitting here reporting on this stuff for every day? If nobody gives a darn damn, why am I sitting here wasting my damn time going through 3 million emails and bringing y'all news? Okay? Why am I sitting here wasting my damn time? Y'all about to really make me go to hell off. I'm about to get out of here because I'm really pissed off. If I come back later, Desmond asked me to do something for Black History, I may do it. If I do, I may do it on members because y'all done pissed me the hell off. Y'all done pissed me the hell off. Okay? At the end of the day. Y'all sitting up here talking about, y'all acting like it's his problem. No, it's your fucking problem. At the end of the day, it's your problem. It's all of our problem. Y'all know 800,000 children go missing in this country alone every year. If they have Lifetouch, if they had Lifetouch who's taking your children's pictures and they're saving your children's pictures, putting it in a darn catalog, okay, it might not have been your child this time, but y'all don't think somebody else already took Jeffrey Epstein's place? Y'all think because he's supposedly dead or vanished or whatever he is, y'all think that's the end of it? Because I promise you it's not. Okay, I promise you it's not. I promise you it's still going on, and it will continue to go on until somebody puts a stop to it. These people have to be stopped. That's what has to happen. They have to be stopped. And at the end of the day, whatever it takes to stop them, we should be willing to do it. Okay? At the end of the day, I'm so upset about this stuff. I'm ready to die for it. And I put that on God. I'm ready to die for it. And you're going to sit here and tell me you only worried about yours? Are you serious? I'm worried about mine, yours, and everybody else's. Because no child deserves that. No child deserves that. This is the sickest stuff I ever heard of. Okay? And the stuff that he was talking about with the pregnant women on the table, having to give birth right there. And what do y'all think happened to their children? And also, you know, they have said that Epstein's youngest victim was still connected to the umbilical cord. Now, I want y'all to marinate on that. Okay? I want y'all to marinate on that. Y'all really done pissed me off. Like at the end of the day, I'm starting to ask myself right now, is it even really worth it to be wasting my time on here with y'all Negroes who give 0 F's about what the hell's going on? Y'all ready to be slaves? Okay, well, walk your asses back to the plantation. Okay? They don't even need to put shackles on you. Y'all can just go on and walk back because that's what y'all talking about. Please, miss me with all of it. Big disappointments. Where the real ninjas at? Clearly, they not in my chat. I'm out of here. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got